just a question or two. Why did the lion lose at poker? He was playing against a cheetah. And next question, why did the obstinate lion spit out the clown? Because he tasted funny. Jokes aside for the moment, a while ago, a long time ago, a few years, probably 5, 8 years ago, I attended a function where a motivational speaker spoke, and his whole topic was the power of the pride. And he spoke about how lions, the teamwork of lions, and how we can learn lessons from those lions that we can take into the corporate world. And especially going into detail of how the lions hunt together and the lionesses hunt together and the big males protect the pride. And actually, I just want to share with you a little picture here. Let me just, there we go. There's a nice pride of lions, very regal and massive and fantastic hunters. And yes, I think there are some lessons we can learn from lions and the metaphors about lions that we can take into the corporate world, especially about teamwork. But later on, when I attended guide training, I was taking a few years out to do a bit of a sabbatical, and I learned how to become a field guide, and researching these animals and learning about them, I thought about this presentation that I heard, and I thought there are some good things about leading like a lion, but there are also some bad things perhaps that maybe aren't as good. And so the things that I was thinking of, for instance, that the big male lions eat first. And if there's nothing left over when they are finished eating, too bad, so sad. Nobody else gets anything to eat in that case. Also, the fact that the big lions, when they take over, they kill all the cubs of any other predecessor lions that may have been there. They kill all those cubs. And you know the saying that a new broom sweeps clean, that kind of thing, that anything that the predecessor done is thrown out the window. Also, what happens is that in lion society, it is might makes right. And if there's any weakness, you're on your own. In the lion society, weakness is banished, and if you don't survive on your own, that's it. You can't share in the pride. The pride won't wait for you. The pride won't help you. In fact, they might even chase you away. And the other thing that I found very interesting when researching lions was that as hunters, they are only successful about 50% of the time. That's about half of the time they get up to go and hunt, they are successful. So that's not a great conversion rate. It's actually not good at all. It's quite bad. Whereas if you consider wild dogs, and that made me think of our leaders that we have in the world, and if you think about our past president, and who would take the lion's share for themselves and not care about their constituents as much, care about themselves first. Wild dogs are far more communal and sharing, and interestingly enough, wild dogs are far more successful percentage-wise as hunters. When they get up to hunt, they are successful 90, 95%, even close to 100% of the time. Let me just share a picture of some wild dogs with you. There we go. A nice pack of wild dogs. And interestingly enough, initially when researchers were researching wild dogs, they found they were quite surprised. They thought there wasn't a leader in the pack. They thought that the wild dogs didn't have leaders because their leaders are very low key. Their leaders are what you might call democratic leaders. They're not in your face, jumping up and down and shouting and telling you what must be done. And what happens in wild dogs in packs is that there's a dominant male and a female, this dominant couple. And they are actually the only dogs that breed, and the whole pack helps them to raise the pups. So they're what they call communal breeders, in that they all help together to raise the pups. But also if there's a dog that's injured, even for dogs that are old dogs, the pack will support them and help them. And even if a dog gets lost during a hunt, the other dogs will go and look for that dog, and they will actually call out to the dog to search for the dog until they find their fellow pack member and bring him back, or her. So wild dogs is a far more equal society, and everybody shares more equally. And so I was thinking, wouldn't it be better if our companies and our organizations perhaps have a more equal distribution and perhaps operate more like wild dogs rather than lions? In conclusion, I would like to share a quote with you from a famous general. The previous speaker was mentioning the Second World War, and there was a famous general in the Second World War, and I'm going to share a picture of him. General Dwight D. Eisenhower. There he is. And he was, in the Second World War, the supreme Allied commander. He was in charge of the whole Allied army in Europe. And what happened also was that later on he became the president of the United States. And I would like to leave you with two quotes. And the two quotes I want to leave you with is, you do not lead by hitting people over the head. That's assault, not leadership. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because they want to do it. Madam Toastmaster.
Well said there.